Okay, this is David again, brought to you by the comedy team of Thomas S. Moss, Boyd K. Packers, and others. the, the internet is the kiss of death for the Mormon Church. I have said this for the last year and a half or 2 years. New information in on the state of Utah. Now, even the Mormons who are watching this, they're not making any comments anymore. All my comments now are coming from non-members and people in New Zealand and Peru and other places that they go, geez, I didn't know any of this stuff. I go, well, I'm just trying to be a voice here. And my hits are still 35-40% out of Utah. I know it's the Mormons because they're the major population in Utah. All right, here's the new I am a Mormon program, Pride. This one here is coming from the National Association on Drug and Rehab. It's a government program. And of course, all the Mormons are going to say, it's evil, it's evil. They hate us. They don't hate you. They're just observing you. You hate yourselves. Oh, God. Utah is determined now to be number 2 in mental illness. They're paying all this money to protect their good reputation. If you haven't seen all the videos, I'm just going to recap here. Utah's number 2 in cases of mental illness. It is number 1 in bankruptcy, fraud, and Ponzi schemes and pyramid programs. It is number 3 in the nation in child abuse. You've got 5, 7, 8 kids. You're bound to be hitting them, beating them, throwing them against the wall. I don't know. But that's what the numbers show. Happy Utah. Child abuse. So if you're a kid in Utah, there's a good chance you're going to be bankrupt and a good chance you're going to be mentally ill and beat to get there. They're number 1. Again, they love being number 1. In prescription drug addiction. Zoloft. Ativan. You name it. This is number 1. More women in Utah and men are addicted to prescription drugs than any other state. Any other state. Look at BP down in the Gulf there. How those people have suffered. They're not on drugs like they are in Utah. The Mormon religion brings such stress. It's better to be a fisherman in the Gulf with BP throwing oil on your fish and your shrimp. Good Lord. Here's their number 3 in obesity. Now, I'm 64 years old here, and I kind of got a fat ass and a stomach because I overeat, number 1, and 2, I'm diabetic. But when you're 27 or 28 years old, and I go down to the school to pick my baby up and watch the women come in and get their children, and here's a gal that's 28, 30, 32 years old, and she's got way too much junk in the trunk. Good Lord, it looks like Omar the tent maker made her stretch pants. So Utah overeats. They overeat. They're number 3 in obesity in the nation. Okay, and they love number 1. They're number 1 in the nation for not spending money on education. They educate, if you want to call it that, a child for the least amount of money in the entire United States. You can get a better education in Mississippi, Alabama, down in Georgia, down in states that historically have had trouble with money for children, and Wyoming, Montana, even California, which has like 70% Hispanic population and 60% of those are illegal. You can get a better education there than you can in Utah. They say we get a lot of bang for our money. Let me tell you, they get a lot of mall bang for their money. They're the only state that has a $5 billion Jesus Mall. Jesus appeared to the Hinkster, Hinckley, and said, I have everything in the universe, everything. I own all the worlds and all the people and everything, but God, I don't have a damn mall. Build me a mall in Salt Lake City. And Hinkster says, okay, we'll take our money that we made from businesses, from tithing money, and we'll build a mall, and we'll give all of the sweet contracts to the Mormon boys during the recession so that they don't have to suffer. All right, so, jeez. I know there's another area that I'm missing in the back of my mind, but I'll think of it another day. But the state of Utah, numbers don't lie. Mormons do. Mormons think they have a good reputation to protect. They don't. It's not a good reputation. Their mouths say that they're wonderful Christian, compassionate, caring people. Look at what they do with $5 billion building a mall in a ghetto area of downtown Salt Lake City that could have gone for food, housing, clean water, inoculations of millions and millions of little children throughout the world. 6,000 children tonight will die on the planet Earth from lack of food, starvation. And how those Mormons can dress up in their suits and their ties and start to walk in the mall and all of the Nordstroms and all of the Tiffany and all of the other stores and have a waterfall of the real City Creek, $123 million to bring that through the mall, and a roof that opens up in the summer so you can see all the birds, and then it closes in the winter so you can stay warm, and a walkway from the mall over to the other side of the city. How can they do that and let those children die and starve tonight? I don't know. I've been in the Philippines, and I've seen those children die, and there's just no words for it. There's just no words for it. And the Mormons are culturally trained and cult trained to say, well, we give our money to the church and they're the greatest humanitarian organization on earth. It's not true. It's a total lie. They don't use that money for humanitarian funds. They use that money for many other areas, and they throw a few 2x4s at the Haitians and some tin roofs. And that is their humanitarian aid there. So it's sad. It's a sad, sad thing. So here we are with Utah finally coming in as number 2 in mental illness, and I hope that they keep going. They love to be number 1. I'm sure those numbers will change in the next year or two. The church is making people crazy, poor, beating their children, on drugs to try to not feel bad, overeating because they have poor self-esteem, and they don't have to pay any money for their children to go to school. It's just the kids are poor, the state is poor, the people are poor. So let me just end this particular video with, if you want to come to a real state and raise your children in prosperity and happiness, don't bring them to Utah.